agility is all about activities that require a quick change of direction. But it's not just a change of direction, and we'll give some examples in a second. It's also a change of direction under control. And if we just scoot down to our definition, this is going to be exemplified here, because what are we saying? We're saying it's changing direction quickly, as I've got up here. It's doing it precisely, and that means that we won't lose balance or time. In other words, we could describe this almost as an efficient change of direction. So I really like this end part of the definition, and we mustn't neglect this, because it's not just about the old cod or change of direction. It's also about the precision of that change of direction. So let's sort of go back, and I've included a few different sports here. I included slalom skiing because, I mean, by definition, it is a change of direction, right? And if you do it more slowly and you lose time, you take longer to go down the hill, and that takes time. You do less well, right? So this is quite high when it comes to agility. If we were looking at downhill skiing or even grand slalom, it would be far less a matter of agility, or it would be required. What about this one? What about, let's call it roughly, Olympic rowing? Does this really have any agility, any need to change direction? Well, I guess the hips are sort of moving a little bit, the shoulders are going forward and backwards, but it's all rhythmic, it's all consistent. So this is quite low when it comes to the need for agility. Now, our pole vault, our run-up is obviously a straight line. So we've got a straight line approach, but there's quite a bit of change in direction and twisting through the air. So we've got quite a bit of agility during the actual kind of upwards phase of a pole vault. Any game, and we've got obviously hockey here, any game has very high requirements for agility. Some positions more than others. You'll find, for example, a goalkeeper doesn't need to be agile for the majority of their performance because they're not moving that much, but then when they're making saves, when they're rushing out, they need to show real agility, right? But people like midfielders, people like forwards, people like wingers, this is a very high agility requirement. Why? Because they have to change direction to evade defenders, to find space. They must do it quickly and accurately, and they must do it without falling over or taking too long. It goes without saying. And then we've got our swimming example, right? So we'd say generally that swimming is quite low in the requirement for agility, but certainly the turn, if you think about, I don't know what you're like at tumble turns, I'm rubbish at 'em, but it would be the kind of thing where you would require agility in that particular moment of the technique. Now, I want to give you a couple of additional, I guess, quintessential examples that I didn't include in the images here. Definitely consider something like a dodge in netball. Netball, at least in the possession side, is all about getting away from your opponent and being able to receive the ball. I'm going to mention here freestyle skiing. If you're not sure what that is, look it up. Get it on the old YouTube, see what it's like. It's very, very agility based. I've mentioned slalom as an alternative. And also think about things like dribbling in basketball and the need to actually change direction to beat opponents. We've kind of got that in the hockey here. I'm going to say dribbling in basketball. These are some of your quintessential examples of where agility is highly required. Obviously, in other lessons, we'll look at how we test it, how we train it. But there's our agility. Thanks.